All right, good evening, and welcome to the grand final of NADT 2020. I am this one guy, and for the last time, I'm going to be joining you guys today to bring you our grand finals match. Team WhiteCat from the winner's bracket, Team Midnight Snow from the loser's bracket. Aryu, I'm a Fancy Lad, taking on Utami and TJ 722-23. Midnight Snow, fresh off a dominant victory over Team Unnation, 7-2 in that loser's bracket final. Look to keep that momentum rolling here against Team WhiteCat, who have basically just looked unstoppable throughout this entire tournament. TJ and Utami will look to take out their second OWC-based team in a row. Of course, Fiery and Ed, OWC winners a couple weeks ago. Aryu, Fancy Lad, two of the carries from that team as well. I think this one's going to present much more of a challenge for Team Midnight Snow. Their skill style, I feel, does not match up quite as well against Team WhiteCat as it did against the Unnation. Aryu and Fancy Lad just better at a lot of these picks that Midnight Snow won, I think, than were Fiery and Ed. And that being said, the way Utami played, it is hard to bet against him. That man had the match of a lifetime. Really did carry very, very hard the match beforehand. So I think we're going to be in for a very interesting grand final here. We'll see if Utami can keep up the momentum from the previous match, if TJ can put together some solid performances, and of course what Fancy Lad and Aryu will be capable of. Fancy Lad, I think, inarguably the highest skill cap player in this particular tournament, and Aryu no slouch either, somebody who is good at every type of map in the game. There are definitely some picks that will occur in this match that I think Team WhiteCat is much better at than either Midnight Snow or Team The Unnation showed. So I do think we're in for a much more competitive grand final here than we saw in that loser's bracket final. I think it's going to be a lot more this time on whether TJ can improve the scores from the previous match and if Utami can keep it up, because I just don't see Fancy Lad and Aryu underperforming the way it looked like Ed, who was gone for the last week, so it's an unfortunate sort of state of affairs for him. And Fiery Rage, kind of underperforming as well a bit. I think a little bit tilted at the pool. You see that happen a lot. Fiery is a guy who, mental is a little bit of a struggle for him sometimes, and I think it affected the previous match. I think it was a large part of why Team The Unnation did not look great. But we're going to have to play the match out and see, because that's the only way to determine a victor, of course. That is why they play the games. So, looks like we're going to be starting off with a hard warm-up here. Zeno beat Nomad 5 from OWC. Saw that played earlier on in that show match. And I think it has crashed my turn. It has crashed my tournament client. Excellent. That is what we like to see. That's why we're here. So we're gonna try to fix that real quick. I love the tournament client. It is my favorite. Nothing better in the world. And the OSU tournament cliento. We will reload, get you guys back in for this warm-up. We are underway with warm-up number 1. Xenobeat by Gorshit, the deathless difficulty. I think this is actually just an Utami map, to be honest. Utami looked, I think, more than anything else, just really, really dominant on those couple of speed maps we saw in that match. We saw Nomad, we saw DT2 and DT number 4. So we had Xenius, Vanisher, and Zektbach that Utami just stomped both of those maps like it was absolutely the easiest thing in the world. You would think they were 4-star maps. And I think that is one skill set that Midnight Snow can actually maybe claim a little bit of an advantage on over Team WhiteCat. Because FancyLad has been improving speed, but not really known as speed players per se. So it's going to be interesting to see what the bans end up being. I could see a world where they actually do ban out maybe both of those, or at least whatever of those two they're worse at. Maybe a No-Mod 1 ban as well could be in the offing, but I do think Team WhiteCat very good at aim, so unlikely in comparison. Yeah, this is a new Tommy moment. However, FancyLad looking pretty good on this as well, by the way. 99.5 accuracy. So this is honestly a smart warm-up pick if this was from Team WhiteCat. When you consider what type, this map encompasses, 237 BPM, bursts and streams, like this is kind of similar to DT number 2. Not quite as fast as DT4 in this round, but it's up there with that DT2 pick. And yeah, FancyLad S rank. All right, 99.41% EC S rank. That's that's pretty good. And that is that's that team saying, hey guys, we are totally comfortable with playing DT2 and DT4 because we'll just let FancyLad do stuff. A big part of this matchup is the fact that FancyLad will likely be able to match Utami on any map that's played. And Aryu, judging by the scores TJ put up in the earlier match, Aryu is probably going to do better on a lot of the picks. We saw TJ going under 100,000 points on multiple maps. And that's not going to happen to Aryu. Like, there's just no chance that that happens to Aryu. So as well as Utami played before, I'm pretty sure FancyLad can just play that well. Because he has been this whole year. FancyLad, I think, short of Vaxe, who I think has, the highest skill cap of any player in the game, FancyLad was, I think, the clear-cut, best consistent tournament player. Vaxe played United States Cup, he played OWC, he's played a couple show matches, and that's really it. FancyLad, week in, week out, playing multiple tournaments at a time, won something like 10 or 11 of them. Over the course of the year, including things like Corsace and OWC, obviously, with the United States. That just dominant roster that FancyLad captained and, was a huge part of putting together and deciding this is the direction we're going to go with this team this year. This is going to be an anti-TJ warm-up match, I guess. Warm-up map. Blood Drain again. This is another OWC map. This one was much earlier on, though. This was... What round was this even in? I have to remember what round this was in. Round of 16? Yeah, this was round of 16, but it wasn't this diff. It's like a lower difficulty. This is the top diff of that set. This one may be a little more TJ friendly than the AR8 hidden. Oh, getting through the second warm up here. Very long warm up. This This one, almost, what, 3 minutes, 40 seconds, give or take, somewhere in that vicinity. This is an area map, I'm pretty sure. Actually, this is an area and Fancy Lad map. And this is the sort of thing that is concerning, you know, looking into this match going forward through it, is just they are both so good at these really high skill cap, very technically demanding picks. Where it's like less about the raw mechanics, you know, less about your ability to fling your cursor around the screen at a high rate of speed, much more about your ability to have really good finger control, really good control over your cursor on these tricky sliders, be able to read the bursts and things. You know, there's a lot more required of you on a map like this than something like a Nomad 1. And I think that's kind of the skill set that I would expect Airyu and Fancy Lad to really leverage against TJ and Utami in this match. You really, you know, you can't take much away from a warm-up because it's likely players aren't giving it their absolute all. It's not something they've practiced like a map that was in the pool. But you can learn a little bit about kind of some just general tendencies if you're familiar with the players and see how they do on their warm-ups. If you're, I don't cray how doomed. I don't care how doomed we are. I don't care how doomed we might seem. I will do my best. Well, I would hope. I don't think anyone thinks they're doomed per se. I think this is like able to be a relatively close match. I mean, yeah, Airyu and Fancy Lad are probably going to win, but like, yeah, I don't know. Like, was he planning on just full inting and not even trying? I'm not really sure. Utami has actually emerged as a really strong tournament player over the course of this event and just kind of in recent months. So I think somebody you expect to just do well in all stages. You know, the question mark to me on that team, although 622 combo, nothing to scoff at, the question mark on this team has been a little bit TJ in those last couple matches. So we'll see if TJ can perform better in this match than in the previous one, because I think TJ is definitely capable of more than she displayed in that losers bracket final. Anyway, on we're going to go into our bans. Last match, Midnight Snow, ban No Mod 3, No Mod 4. I expect them to do something pretty similar again, because Airyu, Fancy, obviously both really good at tech and alt. And I think probably, you know, kind of just going to ban out those really strong maps for Midnight Snow. And it is going to start off with the No Mod 4 and the DT2. Saying, we don't want to have to deal with Utami possibly 1v2ing again, because you FC'd last time. We will not get to see No Mod 4 at all. Index 100% ban rate here from Midnight Snow, banned in both matches. Their second ban, actually taking some time thinking about it. I wonder if it's not going to be No Mod 3. They've got something different in mind for this matchup. And it's going to be hidden too, so it is going to be the AR0 hidden that they ban out. Wait, did I miss a ban? What was the other ban? Okay, Hard Rock 1 ban was the other ban from Team WhiteCat. So they do ban out two pretty good Midnight Snow picks. And DT number 1, the first pick for TJ and Utami. So again, just giving the ball to Utami, giving him that ISO in the front court, saying make something happen out on the wing, hit that open 3. A pretty good Midnight Snow map, I think. Very Fancy Lad, not known for being kind of the DT1 farm map type players. Utami gonna Utami, I'm pretty sure. So we are underway. Map number 1 of the grand finals. Team WhiteCat versus Team Midnight Snow. Air Fancy Lad looking to take home the championship in the first set. TJ and Utami looking to play spoiler to what has been a very clean run from the other opponents. And I think a pretty good first pick here for Team Midnight Snow. I think this is the type of thing that Utami will look very good on. I think it's the type of thing that TJ is actually more than capable of performing well on also. Very high, relatively high BPM. You have to believe it's about 270. Have some bursts, gonna have some streams, gonna have plenty of aim. Air 10.3, and you know, it's just pretty hard overall. This is a map that only had one DTFC for quite some time. Jumi had that rank 1 to himself with no other DTFCs on the leaderboard for about a year or two, I think. And so far, we have Airyu matching Utami's FC, slightly lower accuracy. Fancy Lad with better combo than TJ, who has broken several times, having some trouble with those quint bursts. And this is the thing that we're going to find out pretty quickly, I think, in this match. There is the break from Airyu, so Utami now the only FC, but Fancy Lad matching a pretty solid combo and ahead of TJ, so it's going to go back over to Midnight Snow eventually, I think, with Utami on that FC, but it's going to take some time because TJ is really struggling. But yeah, this is going to be what we're going to find out about this match, I think, relatively quickly, is whether TJ is actually carryable against Team WhiteCat, because Utami can do everything in the world, but if TJ can't put up a couple 100,000 points on these maps, it's not going to end up mattering. There is the break from Fancy Lad. That is the big combo gone, but it's over 100,000 point lead simply because TJ is just having a really rough go of things. And there's another break from Fancy Lad. Utami's still holding on to the FC. He will be able to carry this one if he FCs this map. So that will, you know, keep things pretty close. Only a 60,000 point lead for Team WhiteCat. It really doesn't matter what they do. They are reliant on Utami not FCing. If they both can hold combo through the rest of the map, it'll be big. Utami, though, still holding the FC. He's going to try to single-handedly bring this one back. TJ's having so much trouble, not even at 200,000 points left. But there is a decent amount of time left, and the score is staying very close. But there's the break from Utami, and that is going to pretty much just end the map right there. You know, Utami's going to, I think, end up top scoring this by a pretty decent margin, 150, 200,000 points, I believe, by the time it's all said and done. But the problem is TJ is only putting up 200k and Airyu and Fancy Lad at 450, 480. It's just too much combined score. Utami can't 1v2 that without an FC. And so it's going to be an early break point here to start things off for Team WhiteCat. That is the 1-0 starting advantage by 100,000 points for Team WhiteCat. And I think, you know, that's just going to be what happens this match. Unfortunately, I think Midnight Snow is going to have to very carefully consider their pick strategy going forward, because if that's what's going to happen, they're not going to win very many points, because Airyu can put up a good score, Fancy Lad can put up a good score. It doesn't matter what Utami does. TJ, they need to pick some maps that I think TJ is a little bit stronger on, because if that sort of thing occurs consistently, they're going to have a lot of trouble winning points in this match. But TJ is better than that on a lot of different picks. I think the biggest issue that TJ has is on the kind of speed stuff, and on like hidden. But there are maps that TJ will perform incredibly well on, and I think that's what Midnight Snow is going to need to figure out what those picks are in this match. Because I don't know that handing the reins to Utami is going to be the way to win against a team that's as good on both members as Airyu and Fancy Lad. But it is a 1-0 lead. It is a break point to start things off. And WhiteCat will try to take the 2-0 lead. And TJ has come back. What is the pick going to be here from Team WhiteCat to start things off? It's going to be free mod number 3, Event Horizon. This is the sort of pick that, you know, I think we would expect out of this team. We're going to find the MP link here somewhere. I know it's here somewhere for the previous match, because I want to look at the scores that they set, because they, of course, did play this in the previous pick, or in the previous match. So Unnation versus Midnight Snow. Let's see, Event Horizon. So Utami TJ put up 372k. Not their best showing. Utami put up 309k, very respectable hidden score. TJ 63k hard rock. I believe that was a sight read. But just kind of the thing. 63k. I don't know how you win with that. So this is a really difficult map. This was, of course, Nomad 6 Course Ace Grand Finals. Really, really difficult, both in finger control and aim control, and just having really solid rhythm sense for a pick like this. And both Aryu and Fancy Lad, really strong players in this skill set. Fancy Lad, I'm pretty sure will top score this. I would be expecting somewhere probably a 400, 500k. We saw Fire Rage put up a 383k, and I think Fancy's better at this skill set than Fiery is, so. We'll see what happens, though, now that TJ has, played this pick before, has a little better of an idea what the rhythm's going to be like. It becomes a lot more feasible to put up a good score than it did on what I think, if memory serves anyway, was a sight read. Gotta establish as much combo as you can at the beginning, though, because it just never gets any easier than it is right now. But things are already starting off a little better for Team Midnight Snow. Not anymore. Those are going to be a combo reset. Fancy and Aryu holding on to the combos. And it's just really, how good is your reading with Hidden on this, and how good is your rhythm sense? Oh, there's the first couple breaks from Aryu, but TJ find a couple breaks of her own. Meanwhile, Fancy Lad doing the thing that Fancy Lad does. You know what would be really crazy is if Fancy Lad FC'd this. I don't think it's possible. I just don't think that's feasible, but that would be the most nuts score. See how long that Fancy can hold on to the combo, because despite the struggle TJ is having, Utami is building up a solid combo for himself, 300 and just about 50 now. But Aryu not super far behind, and Fancy Lad decently far ahead. And yeah, I mean, so Team WhiteCat doubling the score of Team Midnight Snow, just kind of as you would expect, unfortunately. This is just such a good pick for them, and this type of skill set is so favorable for them. Utami, though, putting up a hell of a score. The accuracy somewhat lacking, but 570 combo, I mean, that is really, really good. This is going to be an improved score from Utami as he does finally break. Fancy Lad, meanwhile, still FCing. Maybe I was onto something, I guess. You're not supposed to FC this, Fancy Lad. Just so you know, this was a Grand Finals no mod, and he's playing it with Hidden. Okay, he doesn't FC. Does finally break at the ending. That is a ludicrous score. That is an absolutely ludicrous score. I just need everybody to know how fucking insane that score is. 900k 2-miss Hidden. And like, Aryu not that far behind either. The accuracy very similar between the two players, but my lord. I don't know what to say. God, Fancy is so good. Fancy is so good, man. Oh, jeez. 900k. That's a 1v2 by 400,000 points. Yeah. At 1v2's either team by 300k from the previous match. Yep. Fancy Lad. I'd have to look at the MP from Course Ace. I'm kind of curious what the 4-man scores were in Course Ace when that was played. So, 2-0. Team WhiteCat in the lead early on. Gets the break point, start things off. And it is a Hard Rock 3 selection from Midnight Snow. Kind of what you would expect, I think, favoring into, Hard Rock and that sort of, maybe aim and stuff. Is Presti Veritas VETR. This one mapped by 09 Kami. Really a map that I'm not all that super familiar with, not gonna lie. Another short one, 2 minutes 26 seconds, 175 BPM. Or that? A small circle map, 4.5 is the circle size with no mud. Oh, circle size 6. We'll wait the return of Mr. Fancy Lad, and I think this might be a little bit of a better play for Midnight Snow. I think trying to maybe go into some hard rock and maybe some types of maps that TJ will be a little bit stronger on. Just pick TJ's best maps, because you know Utami's going to perform well on pretty much everything based on the way he's been playing so far. But I think if you give them some maps that TJ can do well on, you know, maybe get TJ's confidence back up a little bit, put up some decent scores, and get a point on the board, you know? Gotta feel a little bit of momentum out. There's only 2-0. It is still early on. It is best of 13, so 5 maps to go for WhiteCat. This is nowhere near over. But, you know, you get that early double break point, and things start to get a little sketchy. So into it we're going to go. Hard Rock number 3, the second selection here from Team Midnight Snow, a team that has typically felt pretty good on Hard Rock picks. And not generally the mod that you associate with Airyu and Fancy Lad, both of whom can play it, but I think, you know, kind of more known as hidden players or no mod players. But we'll see, because they can play anything. All these players should be good to go on this one. Early slider break from TJ before we get into really the meat of the map. And now we are underway proper. Slider City, the map. Into the streams. Will everyone hold through? So far, so good. A very minimal lead here for Team WhiteCat, but there's a break for Utami. Both FCs are now gone for Midnight Snow. However, Airyu breaks immediately thereafter. Fancy Lad only with about 138 combo advantage over TJ. Accuracy in favor of TJ, in fact, by a little bit. And there goes Fancy Lad. See, so this is our chance now. See what TJ can do. The largest combo will try to bring this score gap back just about halfway through the map. And everyone breaks except for TJ. How long can she keep this up is going to be the question, but that score is coming back rapidly. Oh, but there is the break. I believe that was a slider break on one of those buzz sliders. Very unfortunate timing, because that score may have gone back over to Midnight Snow, but instead WhiteCat keep the advantage and they grow it out to about 100,000 points. A break from Fancy Lad, but Airyu with plenty of combo to keep the lead up. 2/3 of the way through, and it is just shy of a 100,000 point lead for Team WhiteCat. Airyu with combo to match TJ and Utami combined. Utami with a little sorry in the smoke. Breaks happen. It's just how the game goes. And we'll go into the last quarter of the map. I don't think there's enough time left now. It's 100,000 points. Unless Team WhiteCat completely falls apart, this one will go in their favor and get another break point. As Utami finds another break, it is all on TJ, who does have the superior score of the two of them, but Airyu and Fancy both holding on to some solid combo. Fancy does break, but so do TJ and Utami. That's going to end it. It's going to be a 3-0 lead here for Team WhiteCat. Just better through that, you know, middle kind of third and a bit more of the map where the scores are most important. That's where it matters most to keep some combo up, and that is what Team WhiteCat managed to do. Unfortunately, not the best of scores from Utami there. A very respectable 416k from TJ, but matched and exceeded by Airyu, 488k. And Fancy Lad, you know, middle of the pack on that one, but did plenty. That is 3-0, double break point goes the lead in Team WhiteCat, who will now have their own second pick to come to try and put together a 4-0 lead, and it's going to be a very quick free mod one. Well, we saw this before. Music to Your Head was the last map of the match between Fiery, BTMC, Utami, TJ. Utami putting up a 346k. Fiery, the best score at 378k. This one, the Hard Rock map in the free mod pool. All 4 players running Hard Rock last time. We'll see if that ends up being the case again here. I think it probably will be, just because this is ludicrous with hidden. But you never know. Airyu and Fancy are both really good hidden players. And so in we're gonna go our 5th map here, and it is gonna be a 4-way hard rock once again. Utami looked pretty strong on this map last time. I think his score was definitely improvable, and he still had a very solid one, so we'll see how things go here, but this is of course the team WhiteCat pick, so they are anticipating a very good showing from their own team on it. Lots of tricky snap aim. You already see the break early on from TJ. And there's the break from Utami. Double FC still alive from Team WhiteCat. Let's see how long it maintains itself. This is one of those maps that it's just like, hold on for dear life, you know, because those patterns are so tough. And Airyu Fancy Lad both over 300 combo now, ahead of their opponents by a fair margin. Airyu does find a break, but so does TJ. Fancy Lad doubling the combo of Utami. We're already halfway through and lead about 250,000 points, so this once again looking pretty good for Team WhiteCat. Really just a dominant team in this tournament. I mean, you saw that roster signed up and it was kind of like, okay, GG to everyone else unless you can beat them on an earlier pool. And 4-way combo reset in the hard part, but really doesn't matter at this juncture. Fancy Lad with the 1v2 performance intact for himself. We'll see if that ends up playing out in this ending. Utami once again putting up a decent showing, but it's just too much from Fancy and Airyu. They just are too good of a duo, you know? And Fancy FC's the ending. Yep, Fancy FC's the ending, because of course he does. And that's going to be the 1v2. No problem. No problem. Accuracy, irrelevant. 109,000 point 1v2 from Fancy Lad, 4-0 lead for Team WhiteCat. Drawing ever closer to closing out the tournament in their favor. And there is going to be the Nomad 1, Dragon Sakura Miko, Itomori, difficulty mapped, of course, by Yusomi, everybody's favorite. Throw your cursor back and forth across the screen and hope it overlaps with some circles and some clicks at the right times. Mapper. I don't know. You know, I really expected this to happen just because what else do you pick against this team? Honestly, Utami TJ put up a pretty solid score on this against Fiery and BTMC, you know, 890k. Did end up coming down to those big jumps right at the very end, and it's within about the last 100, 150 combo. If the map is close going to that, it really just ends up getting determined by who hits that last big jump section. And it was Utami that time, so we'll see if he can repeat that, you know. Not able to put together the carry performance that he did in the first match today so far, but there's only a match left to go. I mean, you know, 4 points away, 4 points in, still 3 points away. But I mean, Airyu aim is really, really good. Fancy Lad, I know his like least favorite thing to play is Nomad 1 type maps. Not his favorite, but the dude has good aim. As I was talking about before, you know, if you get to the point where you're competing in tournaments with 8-star grand finals maps, or near enough anyway, you probably have pretty good aim, because you just don't get to that level of play without having, you know, a very high skill level in the most basic skill of the game. But as with previous match, TJ suffering the first early break of this map. And Tommy carrying the flag here for Team Midnight Snow as best he can. Airyu and Fancy holding on to the SS's through the first 315 combo. I'm always so on edge throughout Nomad 1s because it just feels like you can break almost anywhere, and that is going to happen to Fancy Lad. He is going to be the first of that duo to break. Airyu still holding But Utami's still holding as well, and now combo advantage will go over to Midnight Snow as TJ has a pretty decent combo after the early miss. And we will go on into the first Ki of the map with Midnight Snow about to reclaim, or really claim, I guess, the lead, as long as they can hold on just a little bit longer here. And Fancy Lad with another break. So Midnight Snow, their first lead of the match, comes on the 5th map on the Nomad 1. TJ looking very comfortable, that aim quite clean, and Utami, of course, doing the Utami thing. Into the second verse we'll go, and the lead growing out a little bit in favor of Midnight Snow. TJ doing quite well after the early break. Utami, of course, still in the FC. No further breaks from anyone as of yet. We're about halfway through. Airyu still on the SS. TJ one miss, I think 0 100s. And to let Airyu both break, it is a double combo reset from Team WhiteCat, and Team Midnight Snow will now just run away with this point. Into the second Ki we're gonna go. Midnight Snow, an FC on Utami, and a 1 miss on TJ. Finally a second miss from TJ, but it's gonna take a lot for WhiteCat to have any shot at this one. Utami does break as well. The problem is Team WhiteCat basically needs to FC the rest of the map and hope that Midnight Snow just struggles, because it is a 200,000 point lead for Midnight Snow, and only Fancy with the combos there. You found another miss. This is kind of the dual performance. This is really both players from Midnight Snow putting on a good showing. TJ with another break, and Utami, okay. Everybody breaks except for Fancy Lad. It's 160,000 points, though. I don't think this is really comebackable. But Fancy's gonna try and make a map of it yet. Is still holding on to about a 475 combo. Score gap coming down. I just don't think it's gonna come down anywhere near fast enough, especially with Airyu having some trouble toward the end of this one. It's a big combo lead for Fancy. It's gonna be a little bit closer than it would have otherwise. But, you know, unless Utami and TJ just set their pen and keyboard down, that'll be the only way to really come back for Team WhiteCat. And Fancy Lad does end up missing on those big jumps at the end, as does everyone else except for Airyu. And out of the map we're going to go. It's going to be Midnight Snow putting a point on the board on the Nomad 1 pick. Well done to them. 604k from Utami, 507k from TJ. Very solid scores. The downside, of course, being that that was kind of the one pick left that I think Midnight Snow was ever going to win. So Team WhiteCat now kind of just does stuff. It's still insane to me that Taibai, I mentioned this before, but that was in YSC 2019 Grand Finals, and Taibai and Bowman played it literally in both sets of the Grand Finals, and they act battled it both times. Like, it's just mind-boggling. Seeing other people play that and, like, the best score being 600k. The fact that Taibai and Bowman just FC'd it like it was nothing a year and a half ago. It's just ridiculous how good their aim was in that match. That was probably one of the best 1v1s of all time. Double tiebreaker Grand Finals. But be that as it may, we're going onward in Nomad 6 Vanguard. The ATG-ster Nomad 6 that, well, this was another one that Utami just carried, 332k. The problem is, it's another one where Utami carried, but TJ just did not do anything, 87k. I think TJ will definitely improve on that score, but it's going to take a lot of improving to beat Airyu and Fancy Lad on a pick like this. We'll see how it goes. I think Utami, you know, can probably put up that score again. I think 330 to 350k is definitely within the realm of reason. But the problem is, I think that's also within the realm of reason for both Fancy Lad and Airyu, and then some. Just really, really good rhythm players, especially Fancy Lad, whose stock in trade just seems to be no mod 6. His rhythm sense is outstanding. And now you start to see the really difficult sections of the map coming in, and TJ immediately just kind of falling apart. Utami is still holding on to the combo. He is still keeping this one in touch, but the double FC still alive for Airyu Fancy Lad. And there goes Utami. And I think there goes the map. Just don't pay any attention to anyone's accuracy at all, because it doesn't matter. It's all about the combo in this one. And they did both break. Airyu Fancy Lad no longer holding on to any combo, but Utami with the top score on the map, actually. Problem is, TJ's at 82k and shrinking. And meanwhile, Airyu and Fancy Lad are getting some combo back together. And so, Utami, sorry man, regardless of what you do here, you're just up against a really good duo on maps like this. This is not an accuracy map, by the way. This is absolutely just like mash keys and hope for the best. And Fancy Lad holding some combo like just through the hardest part of the map. 339k Utami, 340k. They're going to be almost dead even scores. I think Fancy Lad's going to end up maybe top scoring this, but it's going to be really close between him and Utami. And it's going to end up being almost a dead heat. Fancy Lad 364k, Utami 357k. So both going above my expectations by a little bit. C rank 1 miss from Fancy Lad, B rank 3 miss from Utami. Unfortunately, TJ 85k. I don't know. And it doesn't matter. Utami is still playing really well, by the way. I just need everybody to know, like, how well Utami is playing. I mean, 357k, almost matching Fancy Lad on a No Mod 6 like that. Like, that is absolutely impressive. Problem is, Airyu just outscores by 160k, and their final margin of victory is 160k. It's the big difference, and that was kind of, well, that's what I said before the match started. It's the fact that Fancy will match Utami on all the stuff Utami's good at, and Airyu is gonna do better than TJ, so good experience. But in WhiteCat now, 5-1. Harrison got 95% on D1. Dude, if Utami and Harrison both play OWC next year, it actually might be more one-sided than 2019 was. Assuming Utami keeps improving at the rate he's been improving, and they bring in Harrison to play OWC, and like everybody else just stays the same. Like everybody else could just literally stay the same. I mean, you still, you know, you keep like Vaxay Fancy. Could a team of Vaxay Fancy Lad, Airyu, Utami, Harrison, like, I almost feel like they could win OWC with those 5 people. The way Utami has been playing. I guess maybe they would need somebody like for another like speed player of some sort, but I mean, you've got, oh, Recteon, yeah, it would be 6. Yeah, that, I'm pretty sure that 6 would actually win OWC 2021. Assuming like everything just remains equal until then, and they just keep improving at their current rates or keep playing at their current level. That's obviously like no offense to like Apraxia or Kablaze. Kablaze already said that she's quitting, so it's kind of irrelevant, but it's ridiculous. This United States is so stupid. I hate this country. When you can be ranked like 5,000 and not even be top 1K United States, it's ridiculous. Something along those lines anyway. I forget exactly what it is. I think you have to be like top 6K global or something to be top 1,000 USA. It's somewhere in there. Even when I was a 4-digit player, I was like 7,800 at peak, and I think I was ranked like 1,300 United States, and this was 2 years ago. Anyway, into Hard Rock 2 we're gonna go. DJ and Utami still trying to keep this one interesting at the very least, but Already having some trouble breaking early on. Airyu holding on to some combo through the intro. Tommy with a little bit of combo, but Airyu doubling it. It is going to be a break. It's going to be a double break from Team WhiteCat. It's a big combo advantage now for Team Midnight Snow. TJ does find a break, but Utami at nearly 300 combo is going to bring this one on his own. There is the miss finally. We're on basically even footing. Only 5K score separating the teams a third of the way through. Almost dead even combo pretty much everywhere. A little bit of accuracy advantage in favor of Midnight Snow, giving them about a 15K score lead, but it's going to stay very close for now. Halfway through the map here. It's only 2 minutes and 9 seconds, but get a little bit of slow section here in the middle. Chance to rest your frayed nerves from how difficult the first half is. And you got to get right back into it. 20,000 points to the good for Team Midnight Snow. Let's see how long they can keep their combo up. Will WhiteCat be able to maintain their combo to jump on any advantage that they see? Tommy, TJ both hold on. No, they both double break. The double miss comes out, and TJ misses an entire stream. Airyu breaks as well, but Fancy holds on, and it's instantly a 100,000 point lead for Team WhiteCat. That was a tragedy for Midnight Snow. You hate to see it. And now it's just Fancy Lad off to the races by himself, the only player with any sort of combo. Hey, guys. He's pretty good at Osu. Going to be a carry performance once again from Fancy Lad. Actually, not really. It's only 50K score advantage over Airyu. But kept his combo when it mattered, and it ends up being a 200,000 point win. It was closer than the scoreline would indicate on that pick. I think I mean, 230K, but like that was on just balanced on a knife's edge 2/3 of the way through. But unfortunately, 2/3 of the way through is not the end of the map, and Team WhiteCat used that to their advantage. And they will now pick free mod number 2. Desire Drive Extra Stage, the half-slashed Corsace Grand Finals free mod 1, CS 5.5, AR 7.5. Will this be the last map of the tournament here? It may well be the case. Not. It's gonna be the start of a reverse sweep for Midnight Snow. We'll see, though. You know, you just hate to see TJ and Utami saying they thought they got good scores, personal best and all that, and it just didn't matter. They still lost by 230K. You know, we talked during OWC about this is what it's like to play. This is what it's like to play in OWC against the United States. Airyu and Fancy Lad are just kind of that in microcosm. You know, Fancy Lad, who was one of the 3 best players on OWC for the USA this year. Airyu, who was, you know, kind of the best in his skill set and was in as a very important member of that team as well. You know, I think a little bit behind Vaxe and Rectigon as well as Fancy Lad, but, you know, obviously all players on that team were so important. This is what it's like to play against just 2 of them. And we do see Fancy Lad going for maybe a little flex here. Hidden Hard Rock. Airyu on the hidden only. Utami hidden only. TJ Hard Rock again. This was not a map that went super well for most players in the previous match. 404K for Fiery BCMC, 374K for Midnight Snow. Honestly, possibly a map that could be pretty close once again, though. Utami's really good at this type of thing with hidden only. It's just going to be, I think, a lot about Fancy Lad and how good his precision aim can be. And so far, he's holding the combo where nobody else can. See what kind of lead Team WhiteCat can establish here. They have combo advantage on both players. Airyu does find a break, but Utami and TJ had both double reset exactly the moment before that. Fancy Lad, the type of guy, you know, he played this, I'm sure, a whole bunch preparing for Corsace. I don't remember if it got played in their matches or not, but obviously was ready to go for it regardless. Does find a break, but fortunately for WhiteCat, Midnight Snow, just not much combo, and Airyu with 160 to make sure they stay comfortably in the lead. It's almost over 200,000 points. They do double reset, but DJ Utami, not much combo on their side. Halfway through, and this is not looking good for Midnight Snow. They're coming down to the last minute of their time. We are coming down to possibly the last minute of our time here in this tournament. Is Airyu, Fancy Lad just gonna hold on to this advantage, I think. Gonna not end up being maybe the best of score, but it'll be good enough. Utami building up though. Just shy of 200 combo, doing what he did before on this. Those finally drop on the stream though, and that kind of quashes out, I think, any last second hope that Team Midnight Snow might have had. Fancy Lad getting some combo back together, and this is going to close it out. This is going to be Team WhiteCat. You know, as I said, you knew from pretty much the moment they signed up for the tournament that that was the team to beat. And they played like it the entire way through. Just Fancy Lad, the highest skill cap player in the tournament. Airyu not far behind him. Team's doing their best against them, just is not enough, unfortunately. And that is going to do it. Team WhiteCat are going to close it out. It's going to be 7-1 final score in the grand finals. Congratulations, Team WhiteCat, Airyu, and I'm a Fancy Lad, the victors of North America Duo Tournament 2020. GG, well played to them. Did avoid the sweep. Midnight Snow did manage to get a point on the board. Good for them. But, man, the strength of Team WhiteCat, just too much. Team Midnight Snow, second place. I think what a lot of teams were probably playing for coming into this one, and they managed to achieve it. Barely escaped Fluslin and Exarch last week. Took out Fiery and BTMC earlier today, but ran into the unstoppable buzzsaw that is Airyu and Fancy Lad. I think we've learned. Utami, though, hidden gem here in the United States, a player that's going to be very important, I think, going forward. If he can continue improving, he'll be a very, very serious contender for the 2021 OWC team if he keeps this sort of thing up. TJ, you know, did really well through the first multiple rounds. Utami, I think, definitely played the carry role once we got to those finals and grand finals pools. But, you know, the team required two people, and TJ was there. Played the role that was required for the first several weeks of this tournament to get them as far as they got. So, absolutely no shame there whatsoever. But, you know, what more is there to be said about Airyu and Fancy Lad? Fancy, who has been the tournament player to beat for the entirety of 2020. Airyu, who has been a consistent tournament player for years and years. They come into these tournaments looking to win. Nothing short of first place is going to be good enough, and first place is exactly what they are going to get. So, for all of us here at NADT, myself, this one guy, joined by Harkwi, Mr. Harrison, Digital Hypno, hosts, all the refs. I'd like to say thank you for watching. Thank you for being here with us. Hope everybody enjoyed the tournament. I know it was a lot of fun to be a part of. Some really fun pools, some great matches to watch, some incredible performances over the course of the last few weeks of this tournament here. So, for all of us, I would like to say a heartfelt thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Congratulations to Team WhiteCat, your victors, NADT 2020. Will we be back next year? Just maybe. We'll find out. But, got a lot of tournaments ahead of us. You know, we get through this kind of interim period after OWC before the winter and spring tournaments start showing up, so make sure to stick around. The tournament scene gets more exciting every year. I think 2021 is going to be no exception. We see new faces popping up. We see new amazing performances from so many players. That is why we're here. So, once again, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Congratulations and GG well played. To Team WhiteCat, your victors. We'll see you next time.